Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to show you the technique that I use to create these backgrounds. I've used some 3D embossing folders and some stencil butter and some sprays to get this really gorgeous effect. I was really pleased with how it turned out. They're great for making quick and easy cards, so let me show you how. So these are the sprays that I was using. They're the Pearlywinks Wink Vibe 2nd generation sprays. There's 5 in a set, and they are water-based ink sprays. They're very vibrant. They're easy to wipe off any of your craft supplies. So obviously I was using these to spray into my embossing folder, and they're really easy to clean up. They're really nice and vibrant, so they give you a really nice effect. And of course you can mix the colours too. Then I've got some stencil butters from the Crafters Workshop. These are really gorgeous. They've got a lovely pigment to them, and they've got a little bit of shimmer in there as well, so they give you a really nice effect. There's so many different techniques that you can use with these. I'm still really experimenting with them, but for the purpose of this video, they were great for using on an embossing folder as well. So I've got a few of the colours there. And then I've got these Sizzix embossing folders. So this is Damask, then I've got Swirls, and then I've got this Holtz, which is a multi-layer. 2 of them are 3D, one of them is a multi-layer, but they're great for this technique. So firstly, I'm just bringing in my spray box. This is just a shoebox, and I'm deciding which side I'm going to spray the inks on, and I'm literally just going randomly here. I'm using the magenta, and then I'm using the sweet orange, I think it's called, and I'm just giving that a spray over the top. It really doesn't matter. This is quite a random technique. You're going to get different results every time. But once I've sprayed the inks on, I'm just going to place my cardstock in there nice and flat, trying to get it straight, close it shut, and try and keep it level, because obviously you've got spray in there. It's going to leak out the sides if you're not careful. And I'm just going to bring in my Big Shot, and we're just going to run that through the machine 3 times. They say 3 times for these 3D folders just to give a really good impression. And as the cardstock's nice and moist from the sprays, you're going to get a really nice crisp impression here. And this is always the exciting bit, the reveal. And I was actually really pleased with how this turned out. It really blended the pink and the orange together. It gave all these lovely tones. It almost looks a little bit vintage, but I was really pleased with how it turned out. And now to just clean my embossing folder, all I'm going to do is just run my e-cloth over it, soak up any extra moisture, and that'll just clean it. There's not really anything else you need to do. You can wash it with water if you prefer, rinse it under the tap and dry it, or use some paper towel or wet wipes. But yeah, really easy to clean up. So I'm going to show you the same technique now with different colourways and the different embossing folders, just so that you can see what each style really looks like. So I'm just going to speed this little section up, but you can just watch the process. And then again, you've just got this really gorgeous reveal. The colours, again, they've blended really nicely. You've got a few little patches of white, but I think that really adds to the textured background. And again, just a really easy way to create a really nice textured coloured background. And so here's the effect on the Damask folder. Again, I really love this orange combination. I think it gives a really lovely, almost coppery effect. And again, you could add some shimmer spray over this and get a really lovely shiny background. So that's the 3 embossing folders, 3 different colourways, 3 different designs. And I'm now going to turn this into a card. But first of all, I'm just going to show you how I've used the stencil butter as well. So I'm using the Crafters Workshop stencil butter. This is fuchsia pink. I'm just putting a thin amount on my finger. I did struggle to get it to focus on that. so I do apologise. But then all I'm doing is just gently rubbing it over the raised areas. This is not going to be perfect. You are going to get a little bit on perhaps some of the lower levels that you didn't want it to, but it's all just part of the process. The idea is that it does give a little bit of a rustic finish. It's not going to be perfect, like say perhaps if you'd foiled or something. So it's really just about enjoying the process, and all I'm doing, just very thinly, keep dabbing a little bit more. It's a great way to use off any excess product in the lid, and just going over all of those little raised bits until you get a lovely effect. And I'm going to show you this for each of the panels. So again, you can just watch the process and see how I've done it. And there we go, there's the finished panel. And as you can see, it's got that gorgeous texture, a lovely shimmer from the Stencil Butter, and it just finishes the panel off really nicely. So I'm going to do that now for the other one. I'm using the copper penny on the orange one. And again, we're just going to rub that over all of the raised areas. Again, you can be as heavy-handed or as light-handed as you want with this, but I do think the more light-handed you are, the nicer effect that you get. And you really don't need much product at all when going over these raised areas. I do really like this colour a lot. I think it's really great for any kind of vintage style project that you're doing. If you want that kind of or mixed media effect, backgrounds, it's just really good for that. And again, just look at that shine. They're so shimmery and so rich. They give such a lovely effect. And so next I'm going to do the green and blue one. I absolutely love how this turns out. I do really like this colour combination as well. So you can let me know in your comments which one of these three is your favourite. But yeah, I think they all give such lovely different effects. And I think every time you do it, you're going to get a slightly different look. So that's always the fun with making backgrounds. So we're going to turn one of these into a card now. And I've got this die cut word love. It's a Funky Fossil die, and I've die cut it in black cardstock and holographic cardstock. And then I've got this sentiment on your anniversary, which again is from Funky Fossil Designs. It's from the Lovebirds stamp set. I'll try and link as many products in the description as I can below. And in this glue bottle, I've got Ranger Multi-Medium Matte, which is a great glue, especially for gluing down fiddly die cuts where you really don't want any glue seepage to ruin your project. So I'm just sticking that down on the black cardstock, and then I'm going to add the holographic over the top, just slightly offset. And then I'm going to attach the On Your Anniversary on some foam tape just to give that a little bit of dimension. Then I'm going to matte and layer it onto some holographic cardstock and some black cardstock. And again, I'm going to use the multi-medium in the matte finish. I do like to normally use Kalal glue on my base layers. However, I can often find that will take the coating off any specialist cardstock. So I really avoid it when it's any kind of coated cardstock like holographic cardstock or metallic cardstock. So I'm just going to use the multi-medium matte. I'm putting the holographic onto the black layer, and then I'm going to mount the main card panel onto the holographic card. So here are some still photos of the finished card and a close-up photo as well. I'm also going to show you a couple of photos of the backgrounds there. But thank you ever so much for watching today. I really appreciate you being here, and I will be sharing close-ups of these on my Instagram profile as well. Thank you for watching. Take care.